Hello students, quick little video to show you how to analyze some of the Westerner Park survey data. So what's going to help you is if you have your survey questions plus the coding that we've implemented and then the spreadsheet of all the survey data. And I'm going to work with the one that says working copy numbers. First of all, I'm going to show you how to do some descriptive statistics. Remember that in your written report you can analyze anything that you find that you think Westerner Park is going to have an interest in. So there's some personal preference involved in there. Some things that may have come out from your focus group or from the survey or from your other reports that you feel are noteworthy that you want to analyze or at least note in your report. For the statistical analysis, I've given you a list of a few of the questions that I want you to analyze. Those are the minimum. If you find that there's anything, other questions in the survey that you want to analyze, you're free to do so. But remember to go back to that list that shows which ones that I specifically want you to analyze. So I'm going to show you how to analyze a couple of these survey questions. Let's go look at our survey first of all. Question 2, for example. How did you hear about the events that you attended at Westerner Park? Check all that apply. The same thing goes for question 4. Check all that apply. So when you're checking all that apply, one person in the survey, for example this survey number 90, ticked off 4. Four ways that he or she hears about Westerner Park. So if you're analyzing question 4 or question 2, what I would do is I would build in some count functions and count all the radio ones, for example. And then if you're really good in Excel, you can just copy that over. And then you should get something like those numbers, and you may want to highlight some that you find of interest. Remember that, as I said, you're in your statistical analysis. I'm asking you to analyze a few of the questions in your written report. If you find anything that is of value or importance that you feel that you want to present to Westerner Park in your report, then you do so outside of those questions that I've asked you to do. So in this one, you may find that, hey, word of mouth accounts for 45 people responded that word of mouth is important, whereas Twitter and Instagram, not important. The large numbers may be something that Westerner Park may want to hear, but also these small ones, of course. Now, to summarize this, those values would be most likely in a nice little pie chart or column graph. The others as well, let's find out how many people don't hear about Westerner Park. 4 people. There may be some themes in here under other that you may want to look at. So that's how I would start with analyzing 2. Analyzing 4, I can't remember if I broke this down in terms of giving each student a specific one to analyze or asking specific students to analyze the whole of question 4. If I've asked you to analyze just one part of question 4, unfortunately what it means is to really get a good idea you have to analyze the whole of question 4, because having this number that 28 people responded that they would be willing to go to a stand-up comedy show, that number by itself is not as important as when we compare it across all the options. So once again, this is similar to question 2, a nice little pie chart or column graph if you're analyzing that. It's going to be included in your written report if you find anything of value in questions 2 or 4. Question 3 is you have to go through there and look for themes, common themes in there. So it looks like Rebels hockey games might be a common theme. So you just have to indicate what are the top X number of themes. Let's take a look at some other questions. How likely are you here? Remember that each respondent, back in question 5, how likely are you to attend stand-up comedy shows? 1 is very unlikely, 5 is likely. So going back to our data, This person indicated that 3, kind of neutral, to attend a stand-up comedy. Same thing with car shows or sports. Car shows being a 4, rodeos being a 1, whereas a 1 indicated very unlikely. So to analyze question 5, what you'd have to do is individually, for the stand-up, for the sports, for the car shows, whatever one you have been asked to analyze. And of course, if you want to analyze the whole question 5, you can do so. But what's important here is knowing that there were 5 choices. So what might be good is if you were to count, if you have this count if function, count if, you highlight all your data, and then we are looking for all the ones, we're going to count all the ones that are ones. So we're just going to highlight that cell. And so we know that there are 15 ones in there. So if we go up here, and if we make those cells absolute, those good old dollar signs, we can copy this down, and there we have it. And a total of 70 people ranked stand-up or indicated stand-up comedy shows. So here we can know that 1, if we go back to our coding for question 5, 1, question 5, very unlikely, 5 is very likely. So 1 is very unlikely, 5 is very likely, so we got some values in the middle, a nice little column graph pie chart with that. Instead of using these numbers here in your pie chart, you would want to put in the actual these values in here, though the terminology's right there, making your pie chart. So once you have this, it's really easy to copy. Oops, it's because I have those cells absolute, but you get the idea. You can do a quick count of each option for question 5. Question 6, same thing. It's ranging from 1 through 5, I believe. If you look back at our survey data, there's 6 options, including other. 7, 8, and 9, 10, 11, and 12, more or less the same thing. There's different options from strongly disagree to strongly agree, that we can analyze all the values in here. Question 12 and question 14 are ranking questions, so each respondent, like row 99, basically should have first choice, second choice, third, fourth, and fifth choice. This person, though, indicated 3 things were his or her favorite, and 2 things being second favorite. Remember, with the ranking data, we have to clean this up. Each of the surveys, each of the survey responses for question 12 should add up to 15, like this question, that row 98 does. We can see that the sum is 15. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if it doesn't, there's a way we can clean that up. We just have to make sure. Let's do this one here. This is odd because they don't have a first choice. They have 2 fourth choices. So basically, with this one, we're basically of a sum of 18. We have 3 too many. Yeah, what you're going to do with this one is basically they didn't indicate a first choice, so you're going to artificially change the second choice to choice number 1, like this. Third choice represents their second choice. I'm not sure why they started with 2, or yes, started with 2. But then they have, and your fifth choice is your fifth choice, but they have 2 fourth choices. These numbers 1 through 5, 1, 2, and 5 add up to 8. They should add up to 15, so we're short 7. So there's 2 options that have the same weighting. So we're going to take what we need, divide it by 2, and we get a value of 3.5. These values here add up to 15. So that's how we would change this one. So this person was quite confused because they didn't indicate their first choice, and then also gave 2 fourth choices. So make sure that if you're analyzing question 12 and question 14, you're cleaning up that data. Question 15, 16, 17, 18. Let's just go back to our coding. I think these are the same as before, so you can basically count all the 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s in your data and so forth for all of these. Gender, you can do a count if function for the 1s, 2s, and 3s. Age, 1 through 5, and where you live, 1 through 4. So that's how you can analyze the data. All we're doing is giving a quick descriptive analysis of the data.